Hello, everyone. How are we tonight? It is such an honor to be here with Leslie. Sidney Lumet is one of my favorite directors of all time. If you're a lawyer, I would think Sidney Lumet would have to be your favorite director because he cast Paul Newman as a lawyer. Well, that's pretty good. No one cast Paul Newman as a talk show host. We got Gary Shandling, so you did pretty good with Paul Newman. So every year, the Sidney Lumet Award honors a work of popular culture that raises critical awareness to human rights issues. This year, it's my pleasure to present the Sidney Lumet Award for Integrity and Entertainment to a film based on the life of a true crusader for gender equality, a jurist and a lawyer who revolutionized the legal status of women in this country.
The bravery of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg is cemented in history through her landmark opinions and judgments. Because of the work done by two outstanding filmmakers, Betsy West and Julie Cohen, Justice Ginsburg's journey is reaching new audiences through the inspiring documentary RBG.
And I'm going to go off prompter for a second to say that I am here because of an inspiring legal woman as well, my wife Alexi, who is on the board. Give it up for my wife Alexi. And I don't know if there's anyone else here who's married to a lawyer, but it is very hard to win an argument. My wife is a former prosecutor, and in all of our arguments, she is the prosecutor who is incredibly well prepared, and I am the public defender who just found out I had the case. I feel as though every argument I show up with a briefcase full of papers sticking out of it. I got mustard on my tie. I'm woefully unprepared, and then I ask for a continuance, and I get overruled because my wife is also the judge. Back on prompter. Directors and producers Betsy West and Julie Cohen take us on an intimate journey through Justice Ginsburg's life, featuring interviews, images, and videos from some of the most critical moments of her career, led by a female creative team of directors, producers, editors, cinematographers, and musicians. RBG pays special attention to the justice's unwavering commitment to equal rights through the rule of law.
RBG reminds us that ferocious defenders of human rights come in many forms, and perhaps none more consequential than those who use their knowledge of the law to ensure protection for all of us. Justice Ginsburg believes that real change, enduring change, happens one step at a time, one law at a time.
Off prompter again real quick. I want to give a shout out to our table. My wife and I have 2 young children, and we're desperate to feel young again, so we asked to sit at a table of interns, table 17. Give it up, everybody. And give it up to interns in general who work so hard to the important work we're doing here tonight. Back on prompter. Most importantly, the film humanizes a remarkable woman. Gloria Steinem calls her a superhero, but she's perhaps better known today as the notorious RBG. Oh, so it's still me. Sorry, my bad. Betsy and Julie's documentary shows us how one individual could rise above discrimination to push the law and help all women feel and be protected by our Constitution.
Ladies and gentlemen, RBG.
Directors Betsy West and Julie Cohen, everyone.
Wow. Thank you to Human Rights First for this wonderful honor in the name of the great Sidney Lumet. I mean, look at those movies, 12 Angry Men, Serpico, Network, on and on. His films really were an inspiration for every filmmaker who aspires to tell stories that explore the human condition and illuminate the pressing issues of our time. We hope we've lived up to his legendary name through our documentary about another legendary American, RBG. And We are also really humbled to be honored on the same night as human rights hero Marta Pardavi. Thank you, Marta, really. I don't know where you are, but thank you. Years ago, Julie and I worked on a project about the modern women's movement, and that's when we discovered that Justice Ginsburg, a woman we already admired, was the legal architect behind the battle for gender equality. As a young lawyer in the 1970s, Ruth Bader Ginsburg brought a series of suits to the Supreme Court that upended discrimination laws and practices that people in our country just took for granted. It really wasn't so long ago, just 50 years, that American women were second-class citizens. Wives couldn't get credit cards without permission from their husbands. Women could be fired for being pregnant. And men mostly were not prosecuted for raping their wives. Thanks to her brilliant legal strategy, Ruth Bader Ginsburg helped change all that and change the world for American women.
Yes. As we witness Justice Ginsburg rise to the status of rock star in popular culture, especially among millennial women, we knew there was a responsibility to telling her story. Even now, at age 85, Justice Ginsburg can work, travel, perform, and outplank anyone. All because she believes, like many of us in this room, that a systemic approach to protecting the rights of all people is not only effective, but necessary. We're grateful to Human Rights First for fighting to protect and uphold the values at the core of Ruth Bader Ginsburg's life and work, the universal values of freedom, justice, and equality. We all know from recent events that it's been a challenging time for women in our nation. But in an era ignited by the Me Too movement and a new wave of women running for public office, we know there are women and men across the country who are more inspired than ever to defend constitutional protections under the law for everyone and refuse to turn back the clock on our values.
Also, making RBG was a labor of love and respect for Justice Ginsburg's devotion to gender equality. It's a feeling we know is shared not only by us, but by our entire production team of outstanding women filmmakers and a few good men who worked on the film as well, too. We'd like to thank CNN Films, including our executive producer, Amy Antelis, who is here, Participant Media, Magnolia Pictures, and Storyville Films for helping us honor the life of a women's rights advocate and human rights icon. And of course, the biggest thanks go to our husbands, Orrin Jacoby and Paul Barrett, who've given what can only be described as Marty Ginsburg level of support for our work on RBG.
If you've seen our film, we hope you enjoyed it and learned some things about Justice Ginsburg that you didn't know before. And if you haven't seen our film, hello. Most of all, we hope you've come to admire Justice Ginsburg as much as we do, not only for her brilliance, but also the sheer determination she displays each and every day, and often late into the night, to stand up for what's right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.